The New Zealand Film Commission has raised eyebrows for spending nearly $17,000 on staff parties in this time and age. More than $8,000 was spent on two farewell parties for the outgoing chief executive Mladen Ivancic. That was approved by the incoming chief executive Annie Murray. And then, of course, Mladen Ivanic, the outgoing executive, approved another $8,000 for two welcome parties for the incoming chief executive, Annie. The executive director of the Taxpayers Union is Jordan Williams, and he joins me now. And you're obviously fulminating, mate, aren't you?
G'day, Andrew. Look, another week, another joining your show or joining ZB for yet another story of the Film Commission spaffing money up the wall. If I had that sort of behaviour, the idea of me signing off on or scratching the back of my replacement and him scratching my back to sign off on each other's parties, in any private sector organisation, you'd be marched down the road. But not at the Film Commission. They seem to live on another planet funded by other people.
Yeah, $16,431 is what they blew. There are 54 staff. They don't actually make a film. They just wonder about whether a film should be made. Why is it these public servants haven't actually got the memo that says don't spend money for a bit, survive till 25?
Because the Film Commission actually don't think that the rules apply to them. I mean, I wasn't exaggerating that, that we're always talking about the Film Commission. They've had two parties. It was not just one party for the outgoing guy and one for the incoming. They had to have one in each of Wellington and Auckland. And if only they didn't go through so many CEOs. Of course, you remember David Strong, cost taxpayers nearly $700,000 to get rid of him, including a $440,000 golden goodbye. There's very clearly problems at the Film Commission. They spend $6.5 million on staff costs, 54 people, to dole out only $30 million in grants. The films that they give money to, the box office is less than the subsidies that taxpayers front up and pay for. There's real questions here. Okay. The Taxpayers Union was set up to sort of highlight government waste. Look, this whole organisation is.
So can we cut them some slack? For instance, the approval for the spending was done in mid-2023, arguably before this government's big savings drive, so they could argue ignorance, couldn't they?
No. Whether it was wasted a year ago or today, it's still taxpayer money. I think even the last government wouldn't for a moment defend this. I mean, the whole point of this agency, as best we can tell, is to use taxpayer-funded champagne to coax another Lord of the Rings. But they're not even doing that.
Do you think, though, that the government should actually send out a directive? I mean, the hint has obviously been sent out loud and clear, but do they have to put it down on paper and say, just no more parties?
Well, Paul Goldsmith's the Minister of Yachts. The Minister of Yachts should do his job, call in the political appointments that sit on this board and say, do your job. You have successive chief executives that first got themselves into trouble, and now these two, the middle one and the most recent, are clearly showing they can't read the room. A year ago, New Zealanders were still under the cost of living pressure. That we've previously called out the Film Commission for sending half a dozen people to literally the purpose of going to LA is to attend the after parties at various awards in the hopes of schmoozing someone with our money to come and set up and do something in New Zealand.
Okay.
I mean, this is literally a government agency that just operates totally outside the rules. They're only allowed to have modest farewell parties.
Okay. I hope so. Okay.
And they had 4 of them.
All right, Jordan, I thank you. We've got to move on, and I thank you so very much. Jordan Williams is the Executive Director of the Taxpayers Union.